All right, hey guys, welcome to Binge This. This is a show where we watch something that's on Amazon or Hulu or Netflix or one of these streaming services, and we do a little review of it. And hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. We watched Arkansas. So this week we watched another movie on Prime. Right, this was on Amazon Prime. It's sometimes hard to figure out where they are, but this one was called The Mercenary. Now, this movie was released, I think, in January on Prime, and this movie reminded me of a bunch of movies I've seen before, and it seems to be one of those classic movies that you would see in the '90s action star movies with like Chuck Norris or Steven Seagal or something like that. That reminded me a lot of that. But this movie it takes place, where was this exactly movie? What was the setting of this movie?
The setting was in different locations. They were in Afghanistan, they were in Africa, and they were in, the last time they were in South America.
Yeah, and so these are a group of mercenaries, and they are, what a mercenary is, it's a for-hired killer, basically. Right, and so they get hired by either governments or somebody to go in and do a specific job, and so the movie follows this main character around. His name's Max. He's the guy who we kind of follow. He's the mercenary from the title. So
Right.
first of all, what did you guys overall think of the movie, just in general? Like, did you guys like it?
I liked it. It was kind of an offbeat movie. Something that you really wouldn't be drawn to. The actors were really good, I thought, in the movie, but most of them were actors that you never really heard of.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may think that's a B movie or a cheap movie or something, but it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it didn't have like a lot of the special effects in the movie were just explosions and stuff like that. And actually, in the scenes when there were some killing going on, there's just blood just flying. I felt
there's very seldom killing going on in this movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's P. I believe it's G, not
G. Yeah. G. I don't even think they make G movies.
It's rated K for killing.
MK, mass killing.
What did you think, Kelsey? Did you like the movie overall?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought the beginning was pretty good. It kind of did like different settings as far as like where they're at and stuff. And then as it progressed, the different locations where they're at, some parts were a little kind of not cheesy, but it was like something like a B-type movie, like the blood splatter and the squirting and things like that. But,
yeah, I felt like the blood splatter specifically when I was watching it, I was like, this doesn't look like any blood I've seen in any movies. Like, it's really watered down. Like, they had to let that blood last throughout the film or something. Like, it was definitely a different color and tint and consistency than normal blood I've seen in movies.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of some like Nick Cage movies where like you don't want to turn away because you're like, like I've committed myself to watch this, so I have to follow through with it all the way,
Yeah.
So, but it was good. Towards the end, it was real good.
Yeah, it's kind of like if anyone's ever watched the Kill Bill series, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Kill Bill,
there's a lot of blood.
It was very exaggerated. Like, I felt like Kill Bill is more like it's exaggerated. Like, it's obviously not real, but this seemed like it would be a little more real. But then for some reason that color of that blood, like he would punch a guy in the scene, and maybe I'll put a clip here where he would punch a guy and then blood would just go everywhere,
Yeah. Or like I think there's one scene when like he slits someone's throat or does something and it just like splatters everywhere. Almost like you shook up like a knee-high drink and opened it up and it just like splurted everywhere. It kind of reminded me, honestly. It kind of reminded me of like Sam Raimi Evil Dead movie where it was where it was just like gore, blood But it was good though because the action scenes were like it was really choreographed really well. So
yeah, and this main guy that plays Max, he's a stunt man, and I guess do you know who he's a stunt man for? Did you look that up, Dad? Like, what does he do as a stunt
I didn't look
man?
it up. I think he just does it for different movies and stuff. It's Dominique Vandenberg is his name.
And he was part of the French. He's part of the French Foreign Legion.
He actually was in the French Foreign Legion, and he did fight in parts of Africa. And said he met a lady in Africa, one country in Africa, and that became his
wife.
No, they were engaged. His fiance, and she was a freedom fighter, and then she got killed.
Yeah,
by the bad guys. But he's a stunt coordinator, and he's won several awards doing martial arts in Thailand and places like China.
I mean, you could tell just by watching him, like, this guy knows what he's doing. He reminded me of, like, Jean-Claude Van Damme or something.
Yeah.
But the story premise, so the premise is he's this mercenary. He's doing a job, and they get paid obviously a lot of money. So the guy that's running this outfit is an Australian guy.
Anyone who kills this piece of shit gets an extra $100,000 bonus.
And he's kind of keeps track of every mercenary has their own little nickname, and they all get paid. They all come in, do a job, a kill job or whatever, and then they divvy up the money based on whatever the hit list is. So, for instance, after the first couple of minutes, there's a big action scene. At the end there, the Australian guy's like, okay, that guy's worth $75,000. That guy's worth. So they tally it up, and it's a big payday for them if they wipe all the guys out.
Yeah.
So after that happens, then he does another job, and he runs into some situation with this guy who's trying to take advantage of some girl, and he breaks it up. Well, this guy who's supposed to be on his team tries to kill Max, and Max and it looks like he cuts Max's throat.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so
he does.
Yeah,
he does. It doesn't look like it. He does.
He does cut his throat. So, but what I don't get is when I saw that scene happen and he cut his throat, I thought, that guy's dead. This movie is over.
Yeah.
It's into the movie, and there's no way that guy would have survived that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll say this right off the front before we get started.
Yeah.
This movie's kind of like a combination of the old David Carradine kung fu movies and Jet Li, and all of the martial arts movies, and it's a little bit kind of like them. And like I said, Steven Seagal.
It really reminds me, as we progress in this movie, it started reminding me of like the Steven Seagal movies when he was just a cook.
Yeah.
And everybody kept, and Tommy Lee Jones is like, come on, he's a cook. You know, you can't take care of one cook.
Right.
So,
but in my opinion, this guy Max is he's more of a badass than all of them put together.
Yeah, it's kind of like a combination of those guys.
He's a super badass.
Yeah, he's super.
He is a super badass, more than Rambo, more than anybody like that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when you think about him in that context, like compare this guy to Rambo and all these other, you think when I'm watching this last Rambo, I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. But
Rambo's a sissy boy compared to Max.
So the viewer thinks that this guy's dead, right? So he leaves him in this jungle. The guy goes back to the team. The Australian guy says, hey, where's Max? Where's Maxy boy? And he's like, who cares? That guy ran off or whatever. And so they leave, and they have to go get out of this situation. And then Max actually comes back to life, and his cut doesn't look that bad anymore.
Yeah, it's like Walking Dead life. So he comes back to life, and he's walking around the jungle, and he's bleeding everywhere, and falling around and doing stuff. So,
and then he runs into. And then what country is this that we're in? Do you know what country this is?
I'm sorry, I don't know. It's a country in Africa. I don't know if it's the Congo or where it is.
It could be Colombia or.
I mean, the Colombia or somewhere,
So he finds
in South America,
So then he comes across some village or somebody, and this padre takes him in and takes care of him. The doctors there give him antibiotics.
He's probably a dangerous man. He looks like a dangerous man. Frightening, in fact.
And kind of heal him, and he's, you know, a couple days go by, and he's in this, is it monastery or whatever?
Yeah, he's like in a church, and he's kind of healing up, and then he kind of goes through the process of trying to, like, I guess, repent, become a priest, learn the priesthood.
Yeah.
And then there's a protagonist. There's another priest that's kind of like negative towards him,
He's the younger
priest. And he looks at all the bad stuff, and it doesn't really, they don't really know him per se, but they just, the younger priest thinks that he's a bad person, bad influence, has done bad stuff, and doesn't really give him the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So then Max goes through, and he's trying to be good and trying to almost like lay low, right? He's trying to lay low from the guy that was running the operation. And then he ends up meeting up with two American guys that the Australian guy, which is his name is I think like Leclerc or something. Yeah. But he hired him to go, and I guess they were chasing after this girl, and she runs into the church, and then they hide her. So then these two guys come in, and Max is there. So they start messing with Max, pushing him around, like, say, hey, you know, what's up, puss? You know, tough. You're not a tough guy, and doing this. And
well, he wanted food. He's like, go get me some food.
Yeah. Go get me some food. Like, you're a priest or whatever. Go do this. So he goes and gives them bread and some other stuff, and they start eating it, and he spits it in his face. He's like, you know, we'll be back. And he kind of uses nonviolence, right? Because this guy's like violent the whole beginning of the movie. So he's opposite now, and he's almost like a monk, right? Trying to learn to.
Yeah, it was a drastic thing. So this you know, he almost died, so that must have changed him real quick. Like, I'm not going to you know, act like that. I'm gonna try to have new ways. And these guys are tempting him. It's this fat American guy that's like, hey, you know, who do you think you are? You know, and it's the typical. It's a typical. You know, these guys are gonna get it.
Right. So then it cuts to another scene after that, and they're in the church, and there's chairs, and there's people in the congregation, and the main priest, the main padre, and the younger priest, and Max are sitting there, and they're talking about, you know, God, you know, temperance and trying, you know, violences and all that, and the two guys show back up, and they see the girl that they were chasing earlier, and they're like, oh, I see she's here. So then Max goes nuts, and he doesn't let the two guys take her, and he just beats the shit out of them. And I think he kills one guy, and then the fat guy with the hat, he runs off back to Leclerc, the Australian guy. So then he's trying to explain to him. He's like, "Oh, it was this guy beat me up, and he was this tall."
Weren't they? They were lying to him at first.
Yeah. Max didn't kill one of the guys when they went back to the.
Because both of them went back, and they said there were 6 guys there, boss.
Yeah.
And he said, "Are you lying to me?" He said, "Well, no, yeah." And then the Australian guy kills him. But to back up 1 or 2 steps, so our audience, our very wide audience, knows a little bit. The mercenaries were in their job this time before Max got his throat cut and stuff. They were in South America working for a drug cartel. And I believe that they were trying to establish their territory, and there was another where they were making cocaine and stuff, and they had people working, and that the drug cartel they were working for had hired them to kill the other drug cartel people, and that's what they were doing. They went in and they killed everybody where they were making this cocaine and stuff.
And these girls that they wanted to follow, they were the ones packing this cocaine and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So just to set the scene. So that's what this job, that's what the mercenaries were doing before Max changed his life and all that. They were working for a drug cartel.
So Max lets these guys go. They go back to this Australian guy. They say, hey, there was a bunch of guys, and he was like, tell me the truth or something.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, to tell you the truth, it was just this one guy.
One man.
And then he happens to see a picture of Max with the behind the Australian guy. And he's like, it's that guy. And they're like, yeah, right, that guy's dead.
Yeah. And doesn't believe him.
Yeah, that's such a typical one of these action movies. So that right there reminded me of all these movies with Steven Seagal and everybody from the 90s. It's like you'd watch that movie and be like, it can't be that guy. That guy's, it's impossible. And it's like,
Yeah, just like Hang 'em High with Clint Eastwood when they all hung him and thought he was dead.
Right.
And he comes back and they're like, you can't be alive. You have to be dead.
Right.
So then they go back and they all go back together and they meet. They look for Max, and then the Padre's there and he's trying to talk to him and explain, hey, violence in the way, yada yada yada. So they kill the Padre, the main priest. They kill him.
Yeah.
And then Max ends up finding out, and then they go back to the church. And they're all there together again, and they beat up Max, and he doesn't want to fight, and they crucify him. They hang him up on the cross.
They nailed him to a cross.
Nailed him to a cross, and he's sitting there on the cross, and they all go outside.
Yeah, they all go outside, and they're going to use their guns and just blow up the church.
And then somehow he gets the strength to rip his wrists out, and he falls down, and he's waddling, right? He's going on the ground. So then at this point, you're like, man, like he's got his throat cut. He's got holes in his wrists.
Yeah.
Like there's no way we're going to be doing this, right?
Yeah, he's getting pissed off.
He's done. He's done for. Like this is the end of the movie. Like he's just going to like be cleaning toilets the rest of his life because he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So then he goes and wages a one-man war on all the mercenary guys, just like Rambo. And just pretty much cleans house with all of them.
So what was that starting process for him? Like he was like after they thought they had finally killed Max.
Yeah.
Then what was the next step for Max? Like what did he do? What was he? How did he prepare to go after these guys? I just saw him getting one single gun that was one of those old
shotgun.
Well, He met up with this priest, this older priest. He kind of talked to Max about God and talked to him about forgiveness and all that stuff. And so they the bad guy, the mercenaries, raided the village where he lived and kidnapped a bunch of people to go work in one of these drug labs. Mm-hmm. And so the priest escaped to the jungle, and they took Max with them, and he nursed Max back to health. And then Max started doing his martial arts.
He started doing like running and
doing his martial arts and building up his strength and all that.
Yeah.
And he only had an old Winchester rifle that one of the other priests did.
But that was so. Then he killed that old priest. But then I'm thinking, like, was it then that Max decided I'm gonna just have to kill these guys and revert? Was that a scene when Max was doing some Tai Chi or thinking or something?
Yeah.
And I heard the audio saying something in his head, like the guy had said, maybe this is what you were meant for. And it was
to back up just a little bit, so when those two guys come and tried to kidnap that one girl and Max beat them up, Max said, okay, just leave us alone, don't bother them. And they had a whole schoolroom full of young teenage kids. They were teaching them a class. And so Max told them guys, just leave us alone, go away, nobody get hurt. And they kept pushing, and so he just beat the crap out of both of them. And so all of those kids looked up and said, oh my gosh, teach us that. And then the older priest said, Max, you gotta protect us. He said, maybe God wants to use you as an instrument to protect us.
Right.
All of you are in danger.
You man, you are a weapon, Max. Forged in fire. You might be the only thing that can stop what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the justification that Max has to
Yeah.
go and use his killing ability
His killing abilities.
to wipe these guys out because he's looking at it like, now if I don't do this and save this village,
Right.
there's going to be problems. So
They're gonna be done for. That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Alright.
guess he feels like he's the only one that can save
Right.
everyone, but to do so, he'll have to go back to his old ways.
Yeah.
And,
Oh man.
oh man!
And then he's just a
he gets your pin
machine.
later.
So go back to his old ways. He's just a machine. He knows exactly how to do this. It's like he's
Yeah.
He's
professional.
a killing machine.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he gets a gun. He starts wiping people out. He starts doing Rambo style things with little booby traps and stuff.
Right.
One of the mercenaries stole jewelry off of people. He stuck some grenades in a necklace, so when she pulled the necklace off, it blew her.
Some of the guys he killed, had their bodies laying in an alley, and then this girl mercenary come and she saw a crucifix on one of them's neck. She thought, "Oh boy, gold crucifix! I'm going to get that." And she pulled it off his neck, and the body moved, and there was a grenade, and the pin was already pulled. And she said, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Blew her straight to Hades.
Yeah. And then one of the other scenes is he gets captured purposely.
Oh yeah, he turns himself in. Yeah.
Turns himself in. So then the guys that caught him, he's in the back of the Jeep, and he drives up to where the Australian main guy's at.
Well, they call him. They said, "We got it, boss."
We got him. And he said,
There's four bad guys with guns on him in the car.
Yeah.
And the Australian guy says, "Oh, you idiot, kill him now, you retards," or whatever, like, shoot him.
Yeah.
And then before he could even get off that phone, Max just...
Yeah, and as he hung up, as the Australian guy hung up, he's like, "Oh, they're all dead."
They're all dead. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they all died. Every one of them died.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to kill those guys in the car, and then he goes inside and kills the rest of the mercenary guys that are on the team with him. And then finally, he kills the Australian guy at the end. So
Yeah. Phew.
then he walks off into the sunset.
And then the young priest kind of wants him to hang around, and he says, "No, I'm leaving." So then he just walks away. So it kind of reminds me, it leaves the intention that there's going to be
Another
Mercenary 2.
Well, that's the type of character that it's kind of like who's the guy that played the transporter?
Oh, was it Statham, Jason Statham, or whatever?
Yeah, Jason Statham. So it kind of reminds me of him. This could be the Mercenary series, and it would be the guy that's just
I think it would be a good one. Yeah.
And he would liberate these villages that are being,
Or he could just be going all over the country like a one-man A-team.
Right.
Yeah, awesome.
And just taking care of business.
Yeah.
Right. And I know if there is a Mercenary 2, I know of an actor that would be a perfect bad guy because he was in Logan. He was in the Logan movie,
Yeah.
And that would be Boyd Holbrook. And he was the bad guy in Logan, and he would be he'd be the perfect bad guy to lead somebody, and then Max could go after them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go one step further. I think the perfect bad guy is gonna be the original Face Off, Nick Cage. I think Nick Cage will be the bad guy.
It would be good.
Oh, Nick Cage.
So instead of getting 3 stars on Amazon, it'll get 3.5 stars because Nicolas Cage is in it.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think Nicolas Cage would be. Although Nicolas Cage was pretty good in that movie where there's on the airplane, Con Air, and he said, "I'm going to prove to you there is a God."
Yeah.
Big Southern accent.
So. Well, everyone can share their thoughts who the next villain should be.
Exactly. And people can, if you follow us on Facebook, which I hope you do, which Brett's going to make sure that you know the webpage and how to get in touch with it. But, subscribe to it. And what we want you to do is tell us if there would be a sequel to this Mercenary, to tell us who you think the bad guy would be that Max could fight,
And kill.
And kill. Well, maybe. And then even better than that, let us know what movie, if there is a movie that you want us to preview next, and let us know. And I've got a couple of movies that I really think that we ought to maybe think about. I don't know what.
Sure. Yeah, we could.
Two Sons
we'll
would
be
be.
reviewing some. We'll watch something next week, whether it's a series or a movie,
Yeah.
and then
I've got two of them.
Yeah.
I've got two of them that but we want the people, people that follow us to let us know as well. But I think Mary Poppins would be a good one for us to review. And then another one would be an old Disney favorite would be Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. That's about the life of Fred. So that would be a good one for us to review.
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Or Gator. We could watch the Gator.
Gator would be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lake Placid. How about that Lake Placid where there's that big gator that eats everybody?
No, I meant Gator with Burt Reynolds.
Gator.
Yes, that's a good one. Classic. Burt.
Smokey and the Bandit.
No, called Gator.
Oh, there's one called Gator.
Yeah.
Or snake. We could do Snakes on a Plane.
Oh
Or
yeah,
Snake-
that's a good
But
one.
I don't know. I never did figure out what that movie was about.
Yeah. I don't see what a big deal with snakes on a plane are. Why is that a big deal?
I don't know.
So, well, I think that's it for our review.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
There's some things we can't wash clean now, can we?